Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Jinger Duggar seemingly forgets Jeremiah Duggar and Hannah Wisman's Nebraska wedding. Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vullo are excited about wedding season. It was a hot topic on their recent podcast episode, which delved into Jana Duggar and Stephen Wisman's wedding day. She gushed over Jana, who looked like a Disney princess, and shared some memorable moments she had spent with family and friends during the wedding festivities. As she discussed what was next for her big sister, she and Jeremy discussed her move to Nebraska. Jana is leaving the big house behind and starting over in a new state where her husband is already established. Neither Jinger nor Jeremy could remember ever being in Nebraska, but they were. Jinger Duggar forgets Jeremiah Duggar's wedding spot. While bantering and reminiscing about their own wedding, they moved to discuss Jana Duggar moving to Nebraska. She has a helpful support system there. Stephen Wisman has a huge family. Most of his siblings live in Nebraska. Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vullo wondered whether they had ever been to Nebraska. After debating whether they had been to a wedding, they settled on not having been. However, they had been. It was for a wedding, too. Jeremiah Duggar married Hannah Wisman, yes, Stephen's younger sister, in Nebraska on March 26, 2022. The couple resides in Arkansas now, though. Another Duggar wedding is coming, hot on the heels of Jana Duggar breaking the internet by finally tying the knot. Jason Duggar and Maddie Grace Jones got engaged. The couple only recently revealed their relationship earlier this year, and Jason waited before proposing so that Jana could bask in her moment. Duggar critics wondered what was happening when Jana returned to social media after years away, and the answer is clear. Jason and Jana are very close and have spent plenty of time together over the years. The two, plus James Duggar, have visited Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vullo in Los Angeles several times. Jinger will likely be just as thrilled when Jason and Maddie Grace tie the knot in spring. She and her brothers have a good relationship too. Growing up as one of the elder siblings caused her to help raise some of the younger ones, and she is genuinely happy for them when they celebrate big moments. And with that, some of the moments get lost, as Jinger and Jeremy proved when they did not remember being in Nebraska for Jeremiah Duggar and Hannah Wisman's wedding. Jinger Duggar sat at her desk, fingers tapping rhythmically on the smooth surface, her mind racing. A familiar feeling of being overwhelmed, of too much to do and too little time, clouded her thoughts. Her phone buzzed beside her, a constant reminder of the endless stream of texts, notifications, and social media posts she had to navigate daily. She absent-mindedly swiped through her feed, catching glimpses of family updates, photos of her sister's children, and snippets of life back home in Arkansas. Her life had changed so much since her move to Los Angeles. The sun-soaked city with its palm trees, ocean breeze, and bustling streets felt worlds away from the small-town life she had grown up in, but she loved it here. It was a fresh start, a place where she could breathe, make her own decisions, and carve out a life that was uniquely hers. She had her husband Jeremy, their 2 daughters, and a budding life in a city that allowed them to explore new opportunities. But even as she embraced this new chapter, there was always a tether pulling her back to her large family, the Duggars. No matter how far she ventured, the family group texts, the endless updates, and the news of yet another sibling getting married or having a baby were never far from her mind. Today, though, that tether seemed particularly strong, a nagging feeling that she had forgotten something important. Her phone buzzed again, and this time, a photo caught her eye. It was a picture of her brother Jeremiah Duggar and his wife, Hannah Wisman, standing beneath a rustic archway in the middle of a sunlit Nebraska field. Jinger's heart skipped a beat as she read the caption beneath the photo, * celebrating Jeremiah and Hannah's beautiful wedding day, *. Wedding day? Jinger stared at the screen, her mind reeling. Had she missed her brother's wedding? How could that be possible? She scrolled through her messages, scanning for any mention of the date, the details, anything that would jog her memory. But it was all a blur, a chaotic mix of family events, work deadlines, and her own day-to-day life in Leh. She felt a wave of guilt wash over her. Jeremiah, her sweet, easygoing brother, had always been so kind to her. And Hannah, his bride, was such a lovely person, someone Jinger had hoped to get to know better. How had she let this slip through the cracks? She had been there for so many of her siblings' big moments. Birthdays, graduations, engagements, and weddings. And yet, somehow, this one had escaped her. The photos kept coming, one after another. Her siblings smiling in front of the altar, the bride and groom beaming as they shared their first dance, her parents looking proud and content. The whole family was there, it seemed. Everyone except her. Jinger's heart sank as she realized just how much had changed. Back in Arkansas, family events had been the center of her world. Weddings were huge, emotional gatherings where everyone played a part. From helping with decorations to wrangling younger siblings, it was a collective effort that bound them all together. But here in Leh, life moved at a different pace. She was focused on her own family, her own journey, and as much as she loved her siblings, it was hard to keep up with all of them. The move to California had been about more than just geography. It had been a statement of independence, a chance to step out from under the shadow of the Duggar name and make her own choices. She and Jeremy had embraced a more modern, progressive lifestyle, one that sometimes clashed with the traditional values she had grown up with. They attended a different church, lived in a different way, and made decisions that weren't always in line with what her family expected. But even as she embraced this new identity, there were moments, like now, when the weight of that distance felt heavy. It wasn't just the physical distance, though. It was the emotional gap that had grown between her and her family, the subtle shifts in relationships that happened when you were no longer part of the daily fabric of each other's lives. She closed her eyes for a moment, trying to push away the guilt. She had been so wrapped up in her own life, working on her book, raising her daughters, supporting Jeremy in his ministry, that she had lost track of time. It wasn't intentional, but it felt significant. Missing Jeremiah's wedding felt like a symbol of how much had changed. Opening her eyes, she picked up her phone again, this time composing a message to Jeremiah. *Kager, I'm so sorry I missed your big day. I've been thinking about you and Hannah, and I hope it was everything you dreamed of. I wish I could have been there. Love you both so much. She hit send and sat back, waiting for the familiar pang of regret to settle in. But instead, there was a sense of peace. Maybe this was part of growing up, part of forging her own path. She couldn't be everywhere all the time.